The price of XRP is running big right now, and a lot of people are asking the question, what is going on? In this video, I want to talk about why the price of XRP is moving the way it is right now. Because there was a lot of big announcements over the last couple of weeks, and it seems like XRP's price didn't react at all. And now, with seemingly nothing going on, XRP is now running up big. In this video, I want to talk exactly why this happened, why the price of XRP is moving the way it is, and what big announcement could be driving a lot of the speculation. Like always, your support means so much to this channel. Thank you to everyone who takes the time to like these videos and subscribe to the channel. These two simple things really do help me out so much. Also, if you have any good place to buy some XRP, make sure to check out my favorite exchange uphold down in the description of this video. With that said, let's jump right into it and hope you guys enjoy the content. So I want to start this video off and actually talk about a little known thing that is about to go live that is not really getting a lot of attention. What we've seen recently is a lot of XRP futures ETFs are pretty much going live, have already gone live. There's been a lot of action in the futures market for XRP. Now, people didn't really get excited about these futures ETFs. And the reason for that is because they don't actually use XRP, the digital asset you and I hold. How could an ETF not actually use XRP? Well, what a futures ETF does is it really just tracks the price of XRP. It doesn't actually hold any underlying XRP. So you could see millions and billions of dollars coming into the futures ETFs, and it wouldn't pull a single XRP off the open market. Now, the interesting thing is that doesn't mean it doesn't do anything to the price of XRP. If you have a lot of people purchasing the futures XRP ETF, it's actually going to cause the price of the futures market on XRP to increase. And that causes an arbitrage opportunity where people can essentially go sell that and then go buy spot XRP. And by doing that, they actually increase the spot XRP while the futures XRP is also increasing. I know it's a little bit complex, but in a convoluted way, the futures market still has an impact on the price of XRP, but doesn't do anything to the XRP trading on the XRP ledger. The reason why people are so excited about a spot XRP ETF is because if you had millions upon billions coming into an XRP spot ETF, that would be millions and billions of XRP pulled off the open market and locked up. This is what has a serious impact on the supply and demand dynamics for XRP. And what we've seen over the last couple of years is it doesn't actually take a lot of supply and demand dynamics to cause the price of XRP to catapult. Early last year, we saw essentially just a couple tens to hundreds of millions of dollars coming into XRP cause a 600% run in the price of XRP. If we had some pretty mid-sized financial institutions and even large financial institutions start listing an XRP spot ETF, you could see billions of dollars coming into XRP at an extremely quick rate. Imagine what would happen to the price of XRP if tens of billions were coming into the market when just a couple tens of millions caused the price to rip 600%. That's why people are so excited about the spot XRP ETFs. And it looked like for a while it was going to take until late summer, early fall to actually start seeing some decisions on these things. But a lot of people were ignoring one very interesting thing. It looks like Grayscale is actually way ahead of the game in getting their large cap fund index ETF trading on public markets. Now, this is not only an XRP spot ETF, but spot XRP is going to be in the ETF. So this will be the first institutional grade product that large financial institutions can purchase to start sucking up XRP off the open market. And this is going to go live as early as July 2nd. This is extremely exciting to see because I think a lot of people were really sleeping on the fact that this is going to make it so the SEC and the regulators have to approve an XRP spot ETF. If you already have the capability of getting in this Grayscale large cap fund and getting spot XRP exposure, then it is completely illogical to disallow a product that just gets you the spot exposure to XRP itself. Now, typically, right, based off of past administrations, using that kind of sensical logic could get us into trouble because they tended to do things that was completely unsensical. But now that we're in an administration that I believe is a lot more sensical and is making decisions that are a lot more in line with benefiting the industry, I think this is kind of that first step to guaranteeing we are going to get a spot XRP ETF very soon. And maybe even more exciting is the billions of dollar predictions being put out by people like JP Morgan for what is going to flow into XRP because of this. Guys, remember, in the middle of the Ripple SEC case, JP Morgan, funny enough, came out with an internal memo saying that if Ripple could beat the SEC in the case, then XRP was likely poised for mass adoption because of the significant partnerships Ripple had in the banking sector. I don't take that statement lightly. For JP Morgan to be coming out a couple of years ago and saying, hey man, if Ripple can beat the SEC in court, their XRP token is probably going to get mass adoption because it is already so integrated in the banking sector. The fact that they were saying that during the Ripple SEC case, and now that it's over, they're predicting that the XRP spot ETF is going to have billions of dollars of inflows. It just shows that this is not something of crazy price speculation by some content creators and YouTubers. These are the largest, most respected financial institutions coming out and outright agreeing with us. Now, some people don't take the time to look into these things, right? And research and find these internal memos. And that's on purpose, right? They don't want to make this public. They are trying to keep this away from retail so retail doesn't realize what's going on. But the simple fact of the matter is they have outright said it. It has been proven that they've said these things, and we just so happen to have the same thesis as them. So it's very exciting stuff, in my opinion. I don't think a lot of people really understand that the level of adoption happening specifically for XRP and the number of eyes on Ripple, the company, for what they're doing in this space is extremely significant. And it's going to lead to orders of magnitude of capital coming into the space that I don't think a lot of people have truly comprehended yet. Now, if we're taking a look at the price of XRP because of all of this, we can see that XRP is on a very nice recovery right now. This is one of the things that I was really watching out for. XRP was really kind of stuck in this downward trend that was getting pretty ugly. We were having a hard time breaking above it. We just kept on getting knocked down. And now it looks like for the first time ever, we are breaching above this descending resistance. Now, this comes all while XRP is doing this nice long recovery, reversing its momentum and turning back to the upside in essentially the longer term momentum of the price chart. So I don't know if we're completely out of the water yet, but it does look like we're one pump away to the $2.70 mark, where essentially it would be all systems go for much higher price in the near future. Now, a lot of people are still asking the question, right? Why is XRP making these moves? We obviously had the Hidden Road announcement come out. XRP didn't move. We had some other really important things come over the finish line, like the Ripple SEC case ending, and a lot of other extremely bullish announcements. And whenever people see this, they're like, why isn't the price of XRP moving? This is maybe one of the most important things I want to get across in this video. What people don't understand is that the amount of knowledge in the cryptocurrency market for people who are driving the price action of these assets is not significant. This market is still heavily dominated by retail, and most of the big institutional buyers are purchasing XRP in dark pools. They're purchasing it OTC. They're doing it in ways where it doesn't increase the price of XRP. So if I'm a large financial institution, right, and I see a huge announcement like the Hidden Road announcement, then I'm not going to go to Coinbase Prime or Coinbase or whatever and buy $100 million of XRP and let the price of XRP rip to exponential levels that essentially would price me out of the market. What I would do is I'd go directly to Ripple and say, hey, get me some XRP. I don't want to influence the price. And that's exactly what's going on in the background. The thing that people don't realize is typically the price of XRP moves on the price chart based on announcements by what retail is doing to the price, how retail is digesting the news. And the vast majority of retail people out there can barely even comprehend what Hidden Road does as a company, or even what XRP does as a digital asset in the financial system we're heading into. So a lot of people really misconstrue one key thing. The price of XRP is really not moved by large financial institutions right now, because they can get the XRP in other ways. They can do it in ways that don't influence the price. Most of the price action we see is driven by retail sentiment, because they are trading on the open market on the public exchanges, which creates the pricing data. But eventually, Ripple's not going to have any more XRP to sell, and there's not going to be any XRP to get in large quantities in the OTC market. And essentially what's going to happen is these large financial institutions are going to have to go to the public markets and get XRP the same exact way we get it. And in that case, it will influence the price. What is happening right now is these large OTC buyers are exhausting the back-end supply of XRP. And it's going to cause a huge shift in the supply and demand dynamics as soon as they have to start coming to the open market, because there's going to be no other XRP for them to get. They are going to have to get it directly from the exchanges, making them go directly to increasing the price of XRP to make it available from retail holders. Now, guys, the one interesting note about that is I know a lot of people who won't sell their XRP at any price. And if people are unwilling to sell their XRP at any price, and these institutions are bidding on the open market to try to get XRP, this could create an extremely interesting event for the price of XRP, as these large financial institutions are banging on the door to get into this asset class, but have nowhere to get it. Thank you so much for coming. I hope you enjoyed this update. And for now, Mickle out.